Oh, this is giving me goosebumps. I've been wanting this for so long. I don't know. I have self-worth to a certain level that I'm expecting compliments, but I never get them.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Live Support with Odile for changing negative childhood memories using the Remmert method. We've created this forum for those who've watched our YouTube videos or read our book and need personal help using the techniques to get the changes, but aren't in a position to do one-to-one sessions at the moment. So if you're new to the Remmert method, be sure to check the links in the description of this post. And if you'd like to submit a question or you'd like me to work with you personally in this forum, in this free forum, check the link in the description for details of that as well. So I have one anonymous question that was sent to me by email. Someone wrote to me asking for help regarding feeling self-conscious online. They were worried that they'll say something wrong, and they were worried about what other people will think of them when they see them online. And this person said that every time they're on a Zoom call, for example, they feel freaked out afterwards. And they said it comes from being told, don't ever let anyone know who you truly are, because if you do, they will hate you. I can't relax around anyone. So first of all, thank you so much to that person for sending in this question, because I know you're not alone, and I know it'll help others as well. Feeling self-conscious, whether that's online or in person with other people, it's a common thing, and there's a very good reason for it. Before we get onto the childhood references for this, it's important to recognize that the fear of what other people will think is also a very basic survival mechanism. So in addition to whatever childhood stuff is there, it is also just a basic survival thing. Because as humans, being accepted by others is part of how we survive and thrive. If the tribe disapproves of me, then they'll reject me, I'll be kicked out, and I'll die, because we're not designed to survive on our own. We need each other. So there's already an unconscious drive to be accepted by others, and that is based on survival. Now you add to that references from childhood experiences, and that natural drive to be accepted either reduces or it's amped up. And what I mean by that is, if you felt safe, loved, and accepted in your childhood, then your brain already has proof that you're already safe and accepted. And therefore, it doesn't need to be vigilant, which means that results in natural confidence. Or if you did not feel safe in childhood, if you did not feel safe, loved, accepted in childhood, then your brain has proof that you are never safe or accepted. And it's therefore constantly vigilant, resulting in various coping mechanisms, which will vary from person to person, but can include a fear of what other people think. So what's happening in the background is that as you think about being seen on camera, or you watch a recording of yourself, or you think back to an event with someone, your brain is referring not to the facts of the current or recent situation, but to childhood experiences that prove you're not safe. And it's then pumping stress chemicals into your system that create those feelings of not being safe. And your conscious mind is then making the link between this current or the recent experience and those feelings. In other words, your conscious mind is automatically coming up with reasons for those feelings and searching for things that others might judge to explain those feelings. But of course, those feelings are not coming from now, they're coming from childhood. So we want to start with answering the logic of it first for the conscious mind. And the logic is, firstly, people are generally more worried about what you are thinking of them than what they are thinking of you. Okay, so that's the first one. Secondly, as you look at yourself or you think about yourself, You are seeing yourself through the filters of your childhood. You're not seeing objectively, and you certainly can't see through other people's perceptions. So your impression of yourself is not accurate. None of us have an accurate impression of ourselves. And in addition to that, how others are seeing you will be determined not by you, but by their references. So we have no way of knowing how someone else is seeing us, and we certainly have no way of changing how they see us or affecting it. So remind yourself that what you're feeling is the child in you reacting to your childhood experiences, and actually nothing to do with the current reality. So it's not actually about being seen online or being on camera or being recorded or being in a room with people. It's about the childhood, and it's the child that's responding to that, reacting to that. So now let's look at those references. So you mentioned being told, don't ever let anyone know who you truly are, because if you do, they will hate you. And you mentioned that you're not able to relax around anyone. So first of all, however you know that you were told that letting people know who you truly are would result in them hating you, be sure to change those memories. So if you, in other words, if you have a memory of being actually told it, or you have an experience that happened, or however you know, or you just know it, however you know it, be sure to change that. Change those memories so that whomever told you or however you learnt it, those people are now saying to you how amazing you are. So similar to what I just did with Swasti, the skin thing, do a similar thing with yourself. Use that way of switching that phrase to the opposite, positive and empowering. So they're telling you how much they love you and how much they admire you and how fun and talented you are. Whatever that little you needed to hear. So keep reminding yourself that the unconscious part of your brain can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, can't use logic or reason, and can't judge something as unrealistic. So it will believe whatever you give it, as long as you allow it to believe it. And then, in addition to changing negative memories, also create new memories from scratch that would prove you are always loved, safe, supported, and admired. You can also imagine talking to the little you and show her proof in the form of new memories that she's wonderful. So create those new memories that prove to that child in you just how amazing she is and just how much she's loved and admired. All right. And then play those new memories until they're established. And then think about going online. Think about you're going to speak online and notice what happens inside you. And if there's anything negative, any negative thoughts or feelings, immediately answer it by reassuring that part of you the way you would reassure a friend. So if a friend was feeling that way about being seen or being heard online, what would you say to that friend? And then also immediately play one of the new childhood memories that proves you're loved and safe. And keep doing that back and forth, thinking about, okay, so let's pretend I'm going to get online now and start speaking. How do I feel? And keep doing that back and forth until when you think of going online and speaking, there are no negative feelings or thoughts. All right, so I hope that helps. But of course, let me know if you need more suggestions or if you need more help or clarification on anything.
So I was on like GP placement last month, and then now I'm like finally in hospital. So I'm on like the women's ward, so obstetrics and gynecology, like hormonal health and women's health. And that's like what I want to do. But basically I saw a C-section yesterday and I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, it felt so emotional. And I was like, wow, like this is the moment I dreamt about. This is the moment that you know, when you keep replaying like the touchstone, it's like, oh, like finally here.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. So let me just also catch up those who haven't been following along and don't know the sort of background, just briefly, what Swasti's referring to here is the touchstone. So if you don't know about touchstones, we'll put a link in the description of this video with the details on what a touchstone is, how to create one, how to use one. So Swasti is basically saying she's now living the touchstone she created before.
Yeah.
Spot on, Swasti. Good job, sweetheart. I'm so
Thank
proud of
you.
you and I'm so excited for you.
Oh,
Yay.
thank you. Yeah, and I had my like first long shift on Monday. I'm like, whoa, like look at me go. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job, you.
Thank
Isn't it wonderful to think back to when you didn't know that this was possible?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like what I think and what is, it's very different. Like the feelings do not align at all. And the moment you realize that, it's like, oh, I can override any negative things. That's very powerful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yay.
Yay. Good
Okay.
job.
So the question I have is basically I find that still to this day, despite all the generational kind of like trauma I had, I find I speak to like male figures very differently to female figures. Like, there's a very distinct line, and I can see it in my own behavior. It's like I feel safe, but I don't feel myself. I feel like they are better, and that goes for anyone, like anyone, my own age, lecturers, professors, doctors, whatever. And I never feel heard and listened to, etc. So I wanted to work on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good. Am I right in remembering that part of your culture growing up is that boys were more important than girls?
Yeah, that was a full generational belief. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's bound to, oh, Harriet?
I just have a quick question. Swasti, can you give an example, please? Do
Of-
you have anything where you can say, okay, I would say it like this to a man versus I would say it like this to a woman?
Oh, okay. It's more like when I'm speaking now, I can express myself fully, but then I will consciously try to hide something. Like I would not say fully how I'm feeling with a male figure. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's the unsafety aspect.
I do the same. And I don't have your background, so I'm interested to see what's coming up.
Interesting. Very good. Thank you, Harriet, for that input. That's good to know. And I'm sure there are others as well. And so we will look at the cultural thing, because I think that is certainly going to be part of it. I know that one of my issues was older men. So I had a similar thing, but only with older men. So that I felt kind of incompetent or kind of uncomfortable, that kind of thing. So for me, it was my grandfather. And so when I changed the memories of my grandfather, that has now gone. I don't feel that way anymore around anybody, really. So let's take the cultural thing first, because that's the obvious one, and then we'll come to the rest of it. And I know we've changed quite a bit of this. So when you think of boys and girls in your childhood, anything come to mind, first of all? Any differences, anything stand out?
So in the UK, how like everyone interacts with everyone, like in school, everyone's bonding with people because they're a person and not because of their gender. That's not the same there. At least like I don't remember it being the same. So it's very clear that girls only interact with girls, boys only interact with boys. And then it was just the whole masculine dominating thing. It's like the man is the breadwinner, woman cook and clean and take care of kids. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so can you imagine? So and I don't know a lot about it, but I know just a little bit the story of Amazonians or something, where all the women are in charge. Do you know
Okay.
about that? It's like
No.
Amazon forest or something. I don't know. There's some tribe. And I don't even know if it's real or a kind of fictional thing, but there's some kind of civilization where the roles were reversed and the
Okay.
women were in charge. They were the strongest. They were, all of that.
Yes.
Can you imagine if India had been like that?
I actually can, because this is what we did with certain festivals that with men being celebrated, so we switched it. But the thing is, I don't feel that connection between the two genders.
Okay. Well, let's start with just women are higher in status than men. let's start with that. Can you imagine it?
Yeah, I can see like boss woman. Yeah.
Good. So let's start with that extreme. And so women are strongest, women are in charge. And can you imagine the men being subservient to the women?
Yeah, I can see my own grandpa.
Good. Very good. Now, what would life have been like as a little girl in that environment?
Powerful, really powerful.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you want to create those references first.
Okay.
Really allow yourself to imagine what that would have been like, and allow that little you to fully feel it, feel the empowerment, feel all the feelings that go with it.
Okay.
And you can add little details, add, different memories, different moments in time, at school, at home, in the street, walking past other people, that kind of thing. So really build the resources of that first. Really establish it, allow those feelings of empowerment and all of that. Then once you've done that, then I want you to imagine a man and a woman in India, and what are the expressions on their faces? And it doesn't have to be anybody in particular, just a man and a woman.
So is this like my actual childhood?
No, just in general. So a man representing men and a woman representing women, and what are the expressions on their faces as they stand there together? Perhaps they're looking at each other.
There was just no like love between them, like at all. So this is interesting because it was all very practical. It was very, very practical. It's like I said, like men work, women cook and clean. And that there was no emotion at all. It was like you go in, day out like that. It was like systematic robots.
So you've never seen two Indian people in love?
No.
Well, let me rephrase that. You've never seen two people in India in love?
I mean, not in real life, but
interesting.
Okay. No, because it doesn't exist as far as my head is concerned.
Okay. So when you say not in real life, you've seen it what, in movies or on television?
Yeah. Movies were really, really romantic. Like Bollywood romance is real romance.
Okay, let's grab that. Let's grab that. So pick a scene from a movie that is really lovely, and it's got a feeling of not just romantic, but caring, really caring for each other. Can you imagine that?
It just blows my mind, because basically people would finish watching a movie and then act exactly the same as they always were. And this is what I found so mind-boggling, and I can never figure it out. And I still wanted to, that makes so much sense now. Because my mind was constantly like, it was that tug of war with like, I don't understand. Like you're watching something and you're feeling so like, wow. And then you're acting really bad to your wife or your husband. Yeah.
And that's, of course, all their programs.
Yeah.
So now, can we bring that movie to life? And here's the thing to remember. Of course, I know you remember this, but for everybody else as well who may be new to this, the unconscious part of the brain that reacts to the movie as if it's real. So in other words, while we're watching a movie, we feel all those feelings as if what we're watching is real. That same part of the brain can't tell the difference between the movie and reality, which is why it makes us feel that way, produces those same chemicals. And we can harness that for these new memories. So that's why we can pretend that the movie is real. And while our conscious mind knows, of course, it's not true, the unconscious part of the brain will believe it enough to create that new reference, which can create changes in our lives. So can you imagine? So you've got that scene in your head from the movie, first of all?
Yes.
I want you to imagine those people step out of the movie into reality. And what would that be like?
That's transformational. That's really nice.
Good. So they step out of the screen, out of the movie, into reality. And as they do that, they bring that magic with them that transforms everything around you, transforms your parents. It's contagious. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's like the spell is broken.
Yes, very good. The spell is broken. And now when you look at your parents and they're looking at each other, what's the expression on their faces?
It's the same as in the movie. Everyone is like that now.
Good. Hey,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
quick.
That was quick. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. All right. So now, can you imagine that going all the way through your childhood? So that's how your whole childhood was. Everyone was like that.
No, so my auntie got an arranged marriage, as we've worked on a few times. And that was
Okay.
something that stuck with me because that's the first marriage I ever saw in my family. So I can't
Okay.
see it for her.
Okay. So let's address that. I think that that one needs a stepping stone that I don't think we created.
Okay.
And that is your auntie is in this arranged marriage, and I want you to imagine she chooses to get out of it, and she is allowed to, she can. How would that
Oh,
feel?
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good because she's like
That
owning
was the
her own
missing piece.
power, which she never did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the missing piece. Very
Mm,
good. So she goes, yeah, no, you know what? This is not working for me.
yeah.
So I'm going to end this and I'm going to do something else.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Good. Very, very good. So practice that until it's established. We are addressing that one piece there. And if that was the case, would you be able to imagine her included in all the rest of them?
So like, is she with her husband now or with someone else?
Both. Can you do both? So let's do, she's not with her husband. So she got
Yeah.
out of the marriage. She's happy. She's either with someone else or she's on her own, whatever she feels like doing. But whatever
Mhm.
it is, she loves her life. She's enjoying herself.
Okay.
Can you imagine that now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good, very good. So that's one piece. And then imagine she is with her current husband, but they're so happy and so in love.
Yeah, that's cute.
Good, very good. And now I want you to imagine that you are going to speak to one of the men from the movie, one of those characters. You're going to speak to him. How would you be then? How would that feel?
I mean, that's fine because I'm a kid and this is an adult.
Good. And now I want you to imagine as an adult speaking to that man. How would that feel?
I can't fully feel myself. Like, and this
Mhm.
is the issue now. Because I know what being myself feels like and I know what this feels like. So I know it's not
Yes.
the same.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. Let's try this little experiment. When you think of one of your close friends, a girl, obviously, a woman, you got that? You got someone?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone you feel yourself with. You're able to just be yourself. And I want you to imagine her in front of you.
Yeah.
And then I want you to imagine she transforms into a man. She's still the same person, but she's now a man.
Right.
And how would that be? Would it still seem the same? Would it be different?
Yeah, I would feel different immediately.
You would feel different immediately. So that's interesting, isn't it? Even though it's the
Mm,
same person. So
yeah.
what is it about a man that makes it so different? What's the, I mean, there's obvious differences, but what do you feel differently? What do you think is there?
I feel like that was, oh, okay, got it. So that was the need to impress because of the whole arranged marriage thing. Like you
Ah,
needed, like, yeah, you needed to be like, be your best, but you needed to be better than the men in order to get the men. Like
there you
that
go.
was the whole legacy. Mm,
And that is a lot because
yeah.
there's a whole lot of fear tied up with that, right? This is not just,
Yeah.
oh, I'd like to get a husband. This is like you need to impress because otherwise you're going to end up with someone horrible or
Yeah.
nobody at all. And so this is a life or death situation as far as the unconscious part of the brain is concerned.
Yeah.
Plus everything around the idea of an arranged marriage anyway, all of
Yeah.
the pieces that are involved in that, you having very little say, being on the spot, all of that. There's a lot
Mm,
there that although your conscious mind isn't necessarily linking those things, it's all part of the same structure
okay.
for the unconscious part of your brain.
Okay.
That's fantastic. Good
Yeah.
catch. All right, so let's go. Do you have an early memory of finding out about or learning about arranged marriage? What's your earliest memory of knowing that there is such a thing?
So the immediate thing that comes to mind is my auntie was going to leave. That's what put me in shock for a while. It's like she's going to leave. she is leaving. But she didn't seem very happy about the leaving. So then I was confused.
So she was living with you?
Yeah. So this is in
She was
India,
living
like
with
when.
you, and then she was going to.
Oh no, wait, my mind is so confused. Actually, wait, no, because she was living. She took care of me, but then I came here, and then when I went back, she was leaving. No, what came to me, which is wrong, completely. I know it's wrong, is that she's leaving me when I'm like 4 to get married, but she didn't. She didn't do that. She got married when I was like 7 when I was here.
Right, but your brain is linked.
Yeah,
being left alone with that traumatic event.
Yeah.
That shocking event. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's linked those two things, which means that as far as the unconscious part of the brain is concerned, that may as well have been what happened. It's as real as if it would have been if it would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at it. So go with the memory that she left, even though it's a false memory. Let's go with that because the unconscious part of your brain thinks it's real. So your aunt is leaving you to get married, and how does that little you feel?
Just pure shock.
And how were you told? How did you find out that this is what's happening?
I think this man, so her husband now, this was weird because I feel like they found someone and he was the first person that married her. So they didn't even try looking further. Like it was just like the most convenient person.
Yeah.
I remember I remember him coming to our house. And then like basically what happens, the whole culture is like you have to go talk to them in like a different room, and then you talk with their family, and then you discuss like the dowry and the arrangements and everything. Yeah, so I remember that happening in our house, and it was a very weird day because all of that happened. And then I went to sleep thinking, oh, it's all going to be the same tomorrow, but it wasn't.
So
everything changed
as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your impression of him? In other words, when you saw him, when you heard him, what impression did that little you have of him?
It was funny because we were all taught that like fair skin, we need to be fairer, we can't be dark. Like you can't be tanned. This man was the most tanned person I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, the irony. This makes no sense. Because I was always told I was too dark. Like that was what I was told. And they tried like milk and bread on me and all of this like exfoliating stuff as a child to make me lighter so that I could get married, when I get older, to the right person. And then you marry the darkest man you can find. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there. And the whole fair skin, dark skin thing, the trying to change your skin, that's like, as a child, that's massive. Right?
Yeah.
And now we put this piece with it of you were basically taught that you have to change what you were born with in order to please a man.
Yeah.
That's huge, right? What kind of a message is that to bring into your adult life and be dealing with men? And I'm seeing another piece here. So I would think is part of that structure is, so here's a man, I unconsciously and automatically know that I need to please this person and I can't. Because you can't change the color of your skin.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much bread and milk you put on. Right?
Yeah.
So
no, I think, but it was also like he can get away with it, but I can't. Like, what's the difference?
And there you go. There's another one. There's another piece there. Yeah, that's a very good point. All right. So it's quite a bit here to change.
Pandora's box. Yeah.
But two things. First of all, this is fantastic. I always say, as long as you find the things, then you can change them. So it's wonderful that we've uncovered all of this and that we can change it. And number two, there will be people out there who have, similar things, who can, benefit from all of this as well.
Yeah.
So good job, you. All right. So let's have a look at, let's break this right down. So I want you to think back to this guy is coming in and you notice that he's dark. And so you have that thought, oh, but I'm supposed to be light, we're supposed to be light skinned, but he's dark skinned. As that little you is looking at the scene, what does she need to know or to be told? In other words, an explanation, would it help?
Like, what does she need to be told regarding the skin color?
Yeah, regarding the confusion.
Oh, well, I was like, oh, why is he here to take my auntie away?
Okay, so let's do that. So
Yeah.
I want you to imagine that that little you gets to ask him that. Excuse
Okay.
me, but why are you here to take my auntie away?
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. And just notice how that feels, and then we'll go with his answer.
Like, I want to give her a better life, but her life wasn't better after that.
Okay, well, that's your logical mind kicking in there. So we want to go,
Yeah.
yes, but this isn't reality, so it's okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
now I want you to imagine answering him with, well, can't you give her a better life here so that we can all stay
Mm.
together? How would that feel?
That's actually nice. It's a nice conversation. There's nothing bad about this.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Okay.
Very
This is
good.
like, oh, it's just a little child like wanting me to stay here, so I will.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So that's exactly what we're going for. So I want you to repeat that until it's established.
Right.
Okay. And allow yourself, and in particular that little you, to really feel the feelings of that, how nice it feels.
Yeah, that feels
Is that
good.
good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. And now look at your auntie's face, and what is she, how does she feel?
She feels good because a part of this was when a woman gets married, the woman has to move to the man's house. So staying in this house is nice.
There you
Yeah,
go. Good. And how does that little you feel now with this situation?
it's good. I like
Good.
this.
Good.
Yeah.
And there's two main important pieces here. Number one, of course, the situation has changed and they're going to stay there. But the second important piece here is that you made that happen.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah.
that little you. So it was your empowerment. You are the one that said, hold on a minute. Why are you doing this?
I feel proud.
How does
Yeah,
that feel?
it feels
Right?
proud. Yeah.
Good, 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 good. Okay, so there's that piece now. So now let's go to the skin color thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to, what's your earliest memory of learning that dark skin is not good and you should have light skin in order to get married?
So all the ladies in the house would almost like get together, and I just remember being told about the whole bread and milk thing. That's me when I was growing up. I don't remember anything from being young. But there were a few, like there was like one person who was specifically dark, like in the village, and she was used to get like taunts from my auntie. Like, but it was only her.
Yep, there it is then.
Yeah.
Think about that girl. What was she like as a person? I mean,
She was lovely.
she was lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So they would taunt her. Your aunt would taunt her, did you say?
Yeah. So basically, there's like a bullying phrase that they say if someone's dark. So that phrase is commonly used.
Okay, so let's change that.
Yeah.
So think of something that is the opposite of that phrase that compliments her on her beautiful skin.
Okay.
You got something?
Yes. This is in Hindi,
Good.
so I can't say it out loud, but yeah.
That's okay. That's
Imagine
okay.
it.
As long as you've got it. As long as you've got it.
Yeah.
That's good. So now I want you to imagine in that scene that your aunt is saying that to this girl, and she's amazed at how beautiful her skin is.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a compliment of like, what do you do to your skin? It's so beautiful.
There you go. That's it. So again, I want you to repeat that over and over. And then I want you to imagine that when you were a child growing up, everyone always also said that to you.
Okay. Oh, that's so nice. Wow.
Good. Very good. You'll probably have to watch this recording again to remember all of this, because there's a lot here. Go through each piece. So when you watch the recording, go to the first stepping stone we did, press pause, practice it until it feels established, then go to the next one, and so on, so that you're establishing each stepping stone before moving on. And then, of course, before the final memories. All right, good job. So that's good. Now, let's go to that man again who married your auntie, so your uncle. And I want you to imagine that you're talking to him as an adult. And how does that feel?
Okay, now I feel like I'll get a compliment. Like
There
I
you
feel
go.
like the other way. Like,
That's it.
yeah, like I don't have to impress anymore. Oh, that feels liberating. That's the thing I wanted. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Very good. Very good.
Oh.
Now I want you to think of talking to a man now where you are at university. And how does that feel?
Oh, this is giving me goosebumps. Like I've been wanting this for so long. I don't know. I have self-worth to a certain level that I'm like, I'm expecting compliments, but I never get them. But I feel like now when I speak to someone, I'm like, yeah, okay, I deserve those and I will get them. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good job, Swasti.
Yeah.
Yay. So
Oh,
how do you feel now moving forward?
yeah, amazing.
Hey, good. Good job.
Yay.
And thank you so much for bringing this here because I know it will help others as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. Good job. Hello, Harriet.
What I realized is that my issue is completely different than Swasti's. On the childhood thing, the first thing that came into my mind was that the boys were allowed to do the lawn mowing and they learned first how to use like a circular saw and stuff like that. And the girls didn't. However, that changed after a while. Even my brother now knows how to put a zipper into pants and he knows how to knit. And my dad taught us girls how to use the heavy machines. So that really heavy machines, those circular saws and drills and stuff. So that changed. However, what I noticed is when Swasti was saying talking to men now, and I don't know, I haven't done it in a long time. I mean, I do talk to them, but it's a different situation now. But it's like when I like a man, I think that's when I can't be myself. If it's a friend, if it's just a good friend, I mean, there are probably certain things that I wouldn't talk to a man about, but I would talk to my best friend. And I think that's totally normal. But I would behave differently. And it doesn't have anything to do with knowledge or being more knowledgeable or more successful or anything. It has to do with they have to be a certain way so he likes me.
Yes.
And that is from childhood. My mom always said, make sure you find a man who loves you more than you love him.
Yeah.
So it's there's I'm not quite sure what is going on there.
Yeah, so there's some pressure there. But also, I mean,
No pressure at all.
of course, bearing in mind that it is also very natural when we are attracted to someone or when we particularly like someone, we are automatically going to try harder. That's a normal, that's normal, that's natural. And that also, reduces as we become more comfortable with the person. So I don't think that's program. But as you say about your mum saying that you need to find a man that loves you more than you love them, whether that needs changing or not is going to, or how much of an impact that has is going to depend on how you felt when she used to say that. What was your experience of it?
I think I thought that might have been right for her. Funny thing is, now that I think about it, that situation makes it easier for me to break up with him. Because as soon as it was always it went deeper when I was younger, teenager and stuff, I broke up with him. That was getting too close. So I think we're going into a deep hole that we might need to move to next Wednesday. Wow. Interesting.
So how does that?
There's something with relationships.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So as you think about now speaking with a man that you like, for example, how do you feel at the thought of it? So let's say you're going to meet up with someone this evening. What thoughts are there? How would you feel?
It depends on how much I like him.
Okay, let's say you really like him.
Scary. Scary for the
Uh-huh.
first, I would say maybe 30 minutes, and then I'm settled and then it's good.
Okay, good. So that's a good start. So let's say now you're thinking of being there, but you're going to fast forward those first 30 minutes. How would you feel?
Comfortable.
Good.
And you know what? That stepping stone with my new best friend, that one
Yes.
helps so much, even in these situations, because it allowed me to be who I wanted to be. And it still does. So when I think about something, I always have in the background, no, but you're allowed to be who you are. And that helps so much.
That's fantastic, Harriet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really foundational piece right there.
Yeah.
First of all, let's do this. I want you to imagine your mum, instead of saying to you, you need to find a man who loves you more than you love him, I want you to imagine her saying to you what you just said to yourself. You're allowed to be yourself, who you really are.
It's interesting. On one hand, I'm totally seeing her saying that. Now I'm confused. Now I lost it all.
That's all right.
But it's a stubbornness behind her, behind that saying.
Okay.
There's a stubbornness in her that you can be who you want to be. That is who you are. That's totally fine. Don't ever let a man get the best of you. It's kind of like always a payback thing there. And I understand that there was a lot going on in the war. And so I get that part.
Okay. So it sounds like,
something that rubbed over.
yeah, it sounds like her childhood needs changing. Her experiences need changing.
It's not so much her childhood, it's the wartime.
So
Wartime
definitely do some generational changes there.
Yeah.
And yes, the wartime, but her experience of the wartime will be determined by her childhood.
That is very true, yes.
How each person experiences big events, dramatic and traumatic events like that will be different depending on what their childhood was like.
And it's very interesting that I worked on something like that with Steve already, but probably a different angle is coming up again. Yes. Oh, that's interesting. Yes.
Very good.
So that all comes up.
Yes. So do that first and change the war. So it wasn't a war, it was this massive celebration of some kind, right? So you want to end up with, it was an amazing time for everybody. And so you've got that heightened, you still got that heightened emotion, but it's a good emotion, excitement and celebration rather than, and then go to the rest of it and then imagine now, how do I feel if I was to go and speak with a man that I really like? And what you're aiming to end up with is that it's okay to be a little nervous, you know, when you're meeting new people and that kind of thing, that's normal. But what you want overriding that is excitement and looking forward. So that if you were going to meet up with someone you really like this evening, that you have that feeling of, oh, yay, it's exciting.
Yeah. You know what I just noticed is when you said the war didn't exist, it was a total celebration. It was like, oh yeah, we are allowed to change it completely. I was ready to change my reaction to it, but the war was still there. But now you're allowing me to change that, the whole thing.
That's right. Yep. There's
And
no
I
reason
think
to keep
I tend to forget about that you're allowed to change everything.
That's right, because the unconscious part of your brain has no idea that it's not true. That's it. And now you may want to change pieces before you change the whole thing in case there's stepping stones that are needed. And that's okay. But the end result is it was something completely, very good.
Perfect. Oh, good. Yes. Thank you.
Good job, Harriet. You're very welcome. Good job.